Okay, guys, I can't stand it anymore. There's millions of people out there, I think, that believe if you tie a horse up, it's evil. Well, I'm going to tell you, my opinion is, if you don't teach these horses to tie up, you sure don't love them very much. Why did I pick on this cute little filly this morning to make this video? Because she's a cute little filly. She's a weanling. And if somebody says, well, why don't you wait till she's older if you're bound and determined to tie her up? Well, God forbid this little filly gets hurt and needs to be caught and needs to be led to a horse trailer and needs to be put on that trailer to take her to a veterinary to get her to stay alive. If you don't tie your horses up, you're in all actually doing your horses a disservice. People say, well, they tie them up because it's a shortcut to breaking them, or it's a shortcut to their training program. I call BS on that. I prepared this little filly to get tied up. I taught her to like being touched. I taught her to give to pressure. I taught her to lead left and right, forward and backwards, before I ever put her on a tie post and just went to a town and had a sandwich. Tying a horse up and then just letting them figure it out on their own, that's evil. But that's not what most of the people do that care about their horses. You prepare your horse for the future. You prepare your horse for the unthinkable occurrence, and you pray to God every single day that that occurrence doesn't happen. But if this little thing was running loose out here because somebody said you need to wait till they're 4 or 5 years old to mess with them, and it got its head stuck in the fence over there, it'd be all cut to pieces and probably dead before I found it. And that's not because I'm a terrible person, because you'd never know. You prepare your horses for the future, and you do it with your due diligence. You do it by preparing them. You teach them the steps. And what's the other? Learned helplessness. Teach them to be shut down. Teach them to be, what's that other word that they use? Frozen. This little horse is chewing on the lead rope. It's alive. Its brain's working. I go through 2 or 3 lead ropes a year, and I don't care. If they're going to stand there and chew on that lead rope to keep their little mind occupied, let them. As they get older, their ability to relax will get bigger and bigger. And if you don't believe in restricting a horse's movement in any way, shape, or form, I guess you're only going to ride in straight lines and at any speed they choose. You see her pull back? She pulled back. This is a slip ring. It's not a shortcut to training, but she's learned that pull pressure means step back up. She only moved backwards because I come up here and got in front of her face. I don't blame her. And this is just half a snaffle bit. I ain't even going to show it to you. You can buy a blocker tie ring if you want. But no place in this video have I said tie them hard and fast to something unbreakable. I'll agree with you, that's evil. But that's not what we do. Don't tell me that tying my horses up is teaching them learned helplessness. I've prepared my horses to tie up. I've prepared my horses to lead forward. I've prepared my horses to get on the horse trailer and give me their feet. I had a lady one time tell me that picking up their feet was evil because it was stopping them from going where they wanted to go. Well, that's how ridiculous it is. You get your horse where you don't touch their feet and see how many farriers call you back. None will, unless they're really hungry or they do a terrible job. You prepare them. You teach them. You teach them how to learn. Don't you sit there and tell me that tying these baby horses up is ruining them or dangerous. I don't tie them up if it's dangerous. I teach them to stand tied. I'm really fired up about this because if you don't teach your horse to stay where you put them mentally, physically, and emotionally, one day you will have a wreck. And if you don't have somebody there to hold the horse for you, it's too late to teach them to tie then. And God forbid you ever go camping and use a high line. Well, you say, well, I don't go horse camping unless there's pens to put them in. Well, you've never been horse camping then. It offends me personally when they say, and there's a lot of them that make a living training horses in their underwear, sitting in their mom's basement. And there's a lot of people that really do train horses that don't believe in tying them up. They probably have somebody to hold their horse for them. But God forbid this little horse had a cut on its leg and I had to go to the tack shed to get a bandage and some medicine and I couldn't tie her up. That's doing your horse a disservice. But this little horse is not just tied to a tree and abandoned. Tying a horse up is only evil if you treat it that way. If you do your due diligence and prepare your horses, tying them up is just one more thing. And you say, well, teach them to ground tie instead of tying them to a post. Well, that's all well and good. I'm sure there's a scenario where that's ridiculous. You're going to ground tie them in the parking lot at the vet clinic? Or are you going to have somebody hold them for you? Well, if you've never taught them to give to pressure, like this, we'll wait. See her step forward. If you've never taught them to give to pressure because they're so young and they're so cute, the person holding the horse ain't going to be able to hold them. Come on, people. If you love your horses, prepare them for the future. And if you truly live in a world where you never have to tie one up for any reason, then God bless you. But I've got horses here that are going to go home to places where they have to tie up so they can have their feet worked on, or they can be veterinaried, or they can be at a horse show and wait. You have to learn to wait if you go show them. Or else they're loose in their box stall and you got somebody hired to watch over them until it's time to go show. And that sounds ridiculous. I take this very, very personally. And I don't care if anybody out there likes this video or not. This little horse is soft and quiet and relaxed. I taught her to do this before I tied her up. Not everybody that ties up horses is evil. But everybody that says, never tie your horse up, in my opinion, they're doing their horse a disservice. And they're not preparing that horse for the future. This behavior right here is practiced. If you have a child that you've never taught to sit down, sit still, and be quiet, the older he gets, the more feral he will become. And they will become the kind of people that you don't want to be around too much. My theory is if I can get this little horse soft, quiet, and relaxed and like human contact, it's ready to tie up. And if it's ready to tie up and I don't tie it up, that's my fault. But I don't want this horse to be hard to work with, so it ends up in Mexico or Canada. I want this horse to be easy to work with, easy to be around, coexist with human beings, so that it can live to be 35 years old and get took care of. So the next time that you think that you have an absolute answer, you better write that on a piece of paper and throw it in the garbage, because there is no absolute answers. Every one of those videos that you see of people tying horses to trees and then going to town and leaving them alone, that's not what we do out here. That's not what any competent horseman or horsewoman does. And if you think that you can lump every person except you into this pile of people that don't do things right, I'm sorry, you're delusional. There's 1,000 people that can prove you're wrong. I'm not one of them. I'm here for the horse. And then I'm here for me. And if there's anything left, you guys can have it. But if you don't believe in what I do, you better show me how your horse behaves. You better show me how your program makes your horse better than mine. And if you truly love your horse, you'll teach it to tie up. You'll teach it to give you their feet. And you will teach it to stand still. And you teach it. You go through the steps. Educate, not punish. And if you don't want to do things the way that Will James did them, I don't blame you. I don't either. And I don't. And none of the people I respect, none of the people that truly care about the horses do. But you can't say that this is evil and it's not to be used, because it's not evil. It's only evil in the hands of an evil person. And if you personally know an evil person, stay away from them. Don't take your horses to them. And if you think a horse is fully educated that won't stand up or give you their feet, I'm sorry, you're wrong. I'm sorry, you're wrong. I'm going to do a thing here. This little baby horse, there's its feet. Just to prove my point. We'll go down here and we'll pick her foot up. And we'll set it down. We prepared her to do that, so that a competent farrier can provide competent foot care. Bottom line, I don't make these videos to impress people. I make these videos to pass on information that was given to me freely. Practical, useful information. I don't get dressed up for these videos, and I never will. But if any of this stuff has any value to you at all, if it makes any kind of common sense at all, you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, Equine Kindergarten, or you could follow me on Facebook, Butch Mowdy. If you really, really wanted to be nice to me, you don't have to give me stars. You don't have to do nothing. Just hit like and share. That's a big enough reward. And this little horse will be just fine. Even though you can tie it up and even though you can pick up its feet, it'll still be just fine. because we've done our due diligence. And I stand by the statement, if you don't teach your horses to tie up, do you really care about them? Or are you just the kind of person that believes they're the only one in the whole world that's right and nobody else's program has any value? There's no absolutes in training horses, folks. And the more that you work with horses that are a little different than the rest, you will start seeing that one thing works for one horse and one thing works for another. But I will tell you something that works every single time. Teach them to tie up. Teach them to stand still. Teach them to let you pick up their feet, if you care about them. It's your choice. You can do as you will. I hope this was of some value to you and your horses, because ultimately the horse is all I care about. I'm 71 years old. I'm not building a business, I'm just passing stuff on. I have a waiting list, irregardless of what you think of my methods. I got horses booked in here clear till the winter time. And I don't advertise. The horses do. And I'm not bragging on me. I'm just telling you a fact. You can't send me a memo saying that my methods are terrible, or anybody else, because you don't have that right, unless you know for a fact that you're 100% absolutely correct with every single horse there is, because there's no absolutes. And if you ever had a chance to work with horses that's been through 2 or 3 trainers, maybe you would open your mind up a little bit instead of being this, and this. And maybe you would be less critical of people that do things different than you. And maybe if you started practicing thinking, you would realize, am I preparing this horse for the future? If it gets hurt, can I get it to the vet? Well, my vet will come out. Well, your vet ain't going to come out if its legs have cut off. They're going to tell you to come to the clinic. These are just my thoughts. This is the business model for equine kindergarten. And honestly, you can badmouth me all you want. I make a living with horses. And all of the people I respect make a living with horses. Am I the best? I will never tell you I'm the best. I'm a student of the horse. And there's thousands and thousands of people that are better with horses than me. But the things I do out here, working with horses that's been through multiple trainers, might help you solve a problem that you're having at your house. There's other people that can too. One of the key stones or key premises of this facility is I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to fill you full of BS to make you think I'm great, because I'm not great. But what I will do is I will tell you the truth. And if the truth is what you're after, if you follow me on Facebook or subscribe to me on YouTube and ask me for a list of people that tell you the truth all the time, I'll give you a list of people that tell you the truth all the time, and they don't care if they get famous or not. But they got nice horses. And their horses like them. That's kind of the bottom line, isn't it? Well, my rant is over. Even though it may be evil to make a horse do what it doesn't want to do, we're going to take my wife's horse to a show this morning. And we're going to do a pattern or two. And we're going to have fun. And it was because of the preparation that we did, our due diligence. This isn't the first time the horse has been hauled to town. It's been hauled to town a bunch. This ain't the first time the horse has been asked to go left, right, forward, or backward, because we've done that a lot. We have prepared for the future. Preparation is everything. And the next time you come up with, this is absolutely wrong or absolutely evil, if you're right, you're right. but you better be able to put it into context. And if you live in Minnesota and you're telling somebody in California how to work with their horse, you're doing them a disservice because you're not touching their horse. If you can't do this, if you're not close enough to do this, you don't know how that horse feels. And if you don't know how that horse feels, you might be telling a kid with ADHD to sit still and another kid who just doesn't mind to sit still. That fix won't work for both of them. Different horses, different fixes. No absolutes in horse training, and I hope that helps you. It'll probably get me hate mail, but I got a lot of hate mail. That's not why I'm doing this. For fame, fortune, and glory. I'm doing this for the horses. And if that's good enough for you, I really appreciate it. If it's not good enough for you, if you think I ought to be wearing Calendar's latest fashions, if that's what you're looking for with somebody to help you with a horse, you're watching the wrong video, folks. I'm here for the horses. And I have an open mind. I am a student. And if you tell me and prove to me why something I'm doing is bad, and then prove to me by showing me one of your horses that does it better than mine using your method, I'll change. It's that simple. But words are just noise if they're incorrect. And having the ability to understand what you're hearing, to hear what the noise is, and translating that to the horse, there's where the years of working with them comes in. If you've had 3 horses and you started a horse, you haven't handled enough horses to know how to do anything except coexist with the horses you've touched. If you only started 1 colt, you are not a colt starter. You know how to start that 1 colt. If you handle hundreds of horses, you learn how to adapt what you're doing to each individual horse. When you get to that point, you need to be teaching people. You need to be sharing that information, because that information will have value to people that's only had 1 horse. That's your responsibility. You want the quality of horsemanship to go up? Improve your quality of horsemanship and then teach. Otherwise, you're just sitting in your underwear in your mom's basement telling people how to train horses with her computer. And that doesn't even sound good, does it? Well, I hope you have a wonderful day, folks. Me and this little horse are. Bye.